In the heart of the Jewish calendar there lies a day shrouded in sadness, a day that carries the weight of centuries of sorrow and reflection. This day of mourning and reflection is known as Tisha B'Av, a time when the Jewish community comes together to remember and grieve. Tisha B'Av falls on the 9th day of the Hebrew month of Av, a date that has been etched into the collective memory of the Jewish people. This day is a stark reminder of the numerous tragedies that have befallen the Jewish people throughout history, from the destruction of the temples to the many persecutions and exiles. Tisha B'Av is more than just a date on a calendar. It is a profound moment of collective remembrance and mourning. It's a day that echoes with the weight of history, resonating deeply within the hearts of those who observe it. It speaks of loss, destruction, and the resilience of the human spirit, reminding us of the strength and perseverance of the Jewish people. On Tisha B'Av, Jews around the world unite in grief, coming together in synagogues and homes to pray, reflect, and mourn. They remember and mourn the destruction of the first and second temples in Jerusalem, pivotal events that have shaped Jewish history and identity. But Tisha B'Av is not just about looking back at the past. It is also a time for introspection and hope. It calls for introspection and a commitment to building a better future, encouraging acts of kindness, community service, and personal growth. Through these actions, the day transforms from one of sorrow to one of hope, as the community looks forward to a future filled with peace and understanding. Tisha B'Av serves as a powerful reminder of the past, but also as a beacon of hope for the future, guiding the Jewish people towards a brighter tomorrow. To understand Tisha B'Av, we must journey back in time, delving deep into the annals of history. We must explore the significant historical events that led to its observance, events that have shaped the Jewish identity over millennia. The story begins thousands of years ago. The children of Israel, after escaping the harsh bondage of slavery in Egypt, embarked on a journey to a promised land, a land flowing with milk and honey. This promised land was Canaan, a place of great significance and promise. At its heart stood the ancient city of Jerusalem, a city destined to become central to Jewish faith and history. Under the leadership of the revered King David, Jerusalem was conquered and transformed into a symbol of unity and strength. It became the capital of a united Israel, a beacon of hope and a testament to the resilience of the Jewish people. David's son Solomon built the first temple in Jerusalem, a monumental achievement that would stand as a cornerstone of Jewish faith. This temple was more than just a building, it was a sacred space, a place where heaven and earth met. It was the physical embodiment of God's presence amongst his people, a place where the divine and the mortal could connect. The first temple became the center of Jewish religious and cultural life, a place of pilgrimage, worship, and community gathering, deeply embedded in the hearts and minds of the Jewish people. For centuries, the first temple stood tall in Jerusalem. It was a symbol of Jewish pride and faith. However, this period of peace and prosperity was not to last. In 586 BCE, the Babylonian army, led by Nebuchadnezzar II, besieged Jerusalem. The siege was brutal, lasting for months. Finally, on the 9th of Av, the Babylonians broke through the city walls. Jerusalem was sacked, and the first temple was destroyed. The destruction of the first temple was a catastrophe for the Jewish people. It was a time of immense suffering and loss. Many were killed or taken into exile in Babylon. The Jewish people were exiled in Babylon for 70 long years. During this time, they clung to their faith and the hope of returning to their homeland. Prophets like Ezekiel offered messages of comfort and hope. They promised a future return to Zion. In 538 BCE, the Persian king Cyrus the Great conquered Babylon. He allowed the Jewish exiles to return to Jerusalem and rebuild their temple. The second temple, though not as grand as the first, was a symbol of hope and renewal. It marked the return of the Jewish people to their land and their faith. Section 5. The Second Temple falls again. The Second Temple stood for almost 600 years. It witnessed the rise and fall of empires. It also saw the birth of Christianity within its walls. However, once again, tragedy struck on the 9th of Av. In 70 CE, after a 4-year siege, the Romans, led by Titus, destroyed Jerusalem and the Second Temple. The destruction of the Second Temple was a crushing blow. It led to the exile of the Jews from their homeland. This exile would last for nearly 2,000 years. Section 6. A day of mourning is born. The 9th of Av, already marked by the destruction of the First Temple, became a day of even deeper sorrow. It became a day to remember not just the loss of the temples, but also the many other tragedies that befell the Jewish people throughout history. Over the centuries, Tisha B'Av became associated with a long list of calamities. These events, though spread across time and geography, all seem to coincide with the 9th of Av. The expulsion of the Jews from Spain in 1492, for example, began on Tisha B'Av. This solidified its association with tragedy and misfortune. Section 7. Tisha B'Av through the ages. For centuries, Jews observed Tisha B'Av with fasting, prayer, and the reading of Lamentations. It was a time to reflect on the fragility of life and the consequences of hatred and intolerance. The observance of Tisha B'Av served as a powerful reminder of the importance of unity and compassion. It was a call to learn from the mistakes of the past and strive to create a better future. Section 8. Observing Tisha B'Av today. Today, Tisha B'Av remains a day of deep mourning for Jews worldwide. The observance of Tisha B'Av begins at sunset on the 8th of Av and lasts until nightfall on the 9th. It is a time of solemn reflection and remembrance. The day is marked by a number of rituals and customs that express the collective grief of the Jewish people. These rituals help to connect modern-day Jews with their ancestors. Section 9. Fasting and Reflection. One of the most important observances of Tisha B'Av is fasting. Just as with Yom Kippur, Jews abstain from food and drink for the entirety of the holiday. This act of self-denial is seen as a way of sharing in the suffering of their ancestors and acknowledging the magnitude of the losses they endured. The fast is also intended to help focus the mind on spiritual matters. It allows for introspection and reflection on the lessons of Tisha B'Av. Section 10. Lessons from the Ashes. Beyond the rituals, Tisha B'Av is a time for deep contemplation. It is a day to reflect on the causes of these historical tragedies. It is also a day to consider how to prevent similar tragedies from happening again. Many see Tisha B'Av as a reminder of the dangers of hatred, intolerance, and baseless hatred between people. It is a call to strive for peace, understanding, and unity. Section 11. A time to mourn, a time to hope. While Tisha B'Av is a day of deep sadness, it is not without hope. This day, which commemorates the destruction of the First and Second Temples in Jerusalem, is a time for reflection and introspection. It is a day when the Jewish community comes together to remember the tragedies that have befallen them throughout history. The act of remembering, of mourning, is itself an act of defiance. It is a way to honor those who suffered and to ensure that their stories are not forgotten. By coming together in grief, the community strengthens its bonds and reaffirms its commitment to survival and resilience. It is a refusal to let the tragedies of the past define the future. Instead, it is a call to action, a reminder that the future is in our hands. The lessons learned from the past can guide us in building a better, more just world. Tisha B'Av teaches that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit can endure. The resilience shown by the Jewish people throughout history is a testament to the strength of the human spirit. It is a reminder that no matter how dire the circumstances, there is always a glimmer of hope. It reminds us that from the ashes of destruction, hope can arise. Just as a single flower can grow from the cracks in a stone wall, so too can hope and renewal emerge from the depths of despair. This day is a symbol of the enduring power of hope and the possibility of new beginnings. It is a day to remember the importance of unity, compassion, and the pursuit of justice. These values are at the core of the Jewish faith and are essential for the healing and rebuilding of the community. By coming together in solidarity, the community can overcome adversity and work towards a brighter future. Tisha B'Av is a stark reminder of the fragility of peace and the importance of cherishing and protecting it. Peace is not something that can be taken for granted. It must be actively pursued and maintained. This day serves as a call to action to work towards a more peaceful and just world. It is a day to mourn the past, learn from it, and work towards a better future. By reflecting on the lessons of history, the community can find the strength and inspiration to build a better tomorrow. Tisha B'Av is not just a day of mourning, but also a day of hope and renewal.